So the importance of using cash, the importance of doing business local, the importance of maybe staying away from stores that tend to not like you. Today we're going to talk about just that, the importance of understanding who our friends are and who they're not, and making sure we're not supporting brands that does not support us. Let's jump into some scary stories today for you as a conservative, you as someone who may support freedom, liberty, Christianity, conservatism. This is some scary stuff. Let's jump into it today. This video starts right now.
Then baby, hold me tight and send me off with the words of a lullaby.
Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. I'm always humbled by your support by watching our channel. If you like the content of today's video, give us a thumbs up. It does help us stay in the algorithm. Also, comment below. Tell us what you think about the video. We're doing a giveaway this weekend. We're actually going to do a live, most likely this weekend, to give it away. But we're going to be doing a giveaway, and it takes only you subscribing, you giving a thumbs up, and commenting on these videos below. You'll be entered in the drawing, and we can't wait to give you something this weekend. So please make sure you're doing that. Also, just a little word before we get into the video, there is a sale going on the Opus solar generators. I don't want you to miss it. You can click below. There's a little link. It shows a 5% discount. It's going to the 25th. If it doesn't interest you, that's okay, but some savings can be upwards of $1,000 to $1,500. I don't want you to miss that, but they do have a sale. It doesn't deal with us as much, but it does have our link. You can go check it out. I hate for you to miss that. Opus solar generators, I've really enjoyed having ours. I used it just the last few days when we lost power. So check those out, by the way. Now let's talk about the video of the day. Why it's important to shop local, to use cash, and to make sure you're buying from people who actually like you instead of wanting to harm you. There is a good story that came out that Trump said he vows to never allow CBDC. Now, part of the Davos and WEF is talking this week about the social credit score, ESG, and doing a CBDC. Well, CBDC has already pretty much been rolled out. It's been utilized by some banks nationally. Now, also, they were wanting to use FTX and the way that Bankman-Fried did his FTX in crypto. It was going to be kind of a forefront to the CBDC. So they've already got it all ready to go. But I do like the fact that you're starting to hear some Republicans, especially on the presidential side. Vivek was one of them. DeSantis has been one of them, and now Trump too vows to stay away from CBDC. This is very encouraging to me. Here's why. There's a story that came out that says Jim Jordan demands answers on why the Biden administration was caught flagging any transaction that looked to be American First, Patriot, MAGA, or Trump leaning. Now, what that means is anytime you purchase something that was at places like maybe Bass Pro, like sporting goods stores, like conservative leaning stores, the feds were finding out your transactions. Now, like I told you a few weeks ago, CBDC, they don't need CBDC to look at your data. They've already got it because of all the other regulatory bodies that they've been pushing. But that's why I go back to using cash and buying from companies that won't allow the Fed just to come in and raid their books. Won't allow the Fed to just have all the access to your goods. Before we finish this video, a word from our sponsor today. Today's video sponsor is Delete Me. Now, this is a company that I've talked a lot about because I believe in them. You know, I told you a few days ago that when these companies come to us, some of these companies do not like our policies, what we stand for, even some of our content. But Delete Me has been my longest standing sponsor. And not only that, they have a product that is second to none. You know, as we start off the year, we talk about new year, new you. But remember, your digital life, all its history is still on the World Wide Web. Think about all the phone numbers you once had. Think about where you lived. Think about all the people you connected with, past emails, past user logins, maybe some of these past apps or search engines that you've put in. And now all of a sudden, data brokers have got your information. What are you to do about that? Well, Delete Me can help. It can help get your information away from the data brokers who are selling it and giving it to people who do bad things with it or try to use your name to manipulate you. That's not what we want to do. So Delete Me has been with me for a long time, and their goal is to help you, help me get our information back and make it personal again, make it mine again. So I just received my December report. It says they have checked 1,414 total listings and they reviewed them. They had to remove my name off 8 different data broker sites. Now here's the crazy thing. We've been doing this for a long time. I want to give you the numbers. Back in August, 103 reviews and had a 48 data brokers had my information. October, 1,162 reviews, 23 had my information. This time I had more reviews, 1,414, meaning they are stepping their game up. They're trying to make sure that my name is not where it's supposed to be, and only 8 were found. It shows they are doing their job by getting my information off places it shouldn't be, that's trying to use my information against me or for bad players who want to steal my identity. Have you ever wondered how they get your email, how they send you junk mail in the mail, how they call you randomly? All that's because your information has been shared by data brokers. Let Delete Me help clean it up. Check the link below. There's a huge discount from Delete Me for my viewers, so please check it out. You will not be disappointed in Delete Me. Utilize them to help you get your information back, your information and not someone else's. Join deleteme.com/themax. You will be glad you did. So just like the sponsor and just like what we've been talking about, the more that I don't have to be tracked, and again, we live in a technological world. To be honest with you, we're going to be tracked more than we should. But the more that we support local stores, the more that we use cash to buy things, it helps us stay off the radar of the federal government. The Biden administration is literally surveilling you. Depending on what apps you're downloading, like we talked about, you become an algorithm, but also the fact of what you're buying. It even said down to pawn shops, down to places that hint towards conservatism, hunting. So should we know more about this? It shouldn't take Republicans just bringing it up just to say, well, hey, we're exposing the Biden administration. There should be true pushback on this, not just embarrassment like they've done with the Hunter Biden scandal. I'm talking about there should be prosecution held against the Fed, because no one gave permission for them to go into your files to find out what you've been purchasing. Why are you being surveilled? Did they have a warrant for that for you? No. It says it's alarming to see the surveillance that the feds have asked banks, big banks, like we talked about, getting away from these smaller community banks, going to these big banks that support the government and the government supports them. I mean, it's all just a big group of individuals, like a uniparty, but it's really focused on taking advantage of you. And that's what's wrong. The government did not have rights to take over and learn about these private transactions of American citizens, especially when they had no warrant and there was no reason for pulling that information. This is just big government over-regulating and surveilling its people. It says federal law enforcement instructed financial institutions to use the search terms such as MAGA, such as Trump, to search private transactions to find out what people were purchasing these things. Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, says that describing how the federal government flagged terms like MAGA and Trump is to see the phrases that Americans were using when they were making financial transactions. They used the J6 committee and push and regulatory body to now say, you know what, I'm going to surveil everybody. Isn't that amazing what they do with the Patriot Act or Department of Homeland Security? It's meant to quote unquote protect you, but actually what it's doing is just putting more surveillance on you. It says we know that the federal government flagged these terms. You know what else was flagged? And this is from Jim Jordan. Now, he may have been talking facetiously, but he said, what was also flagged? If you bought a religious text, or you bought something like a Bible or typed Bible, or you shopped at places like Bass Pro, these things could have easily been flagged and the government looking at your other transactions. This kind of pervasive financial surveillance carried out in coordination with the request by the federal law enforcement into private transactions of Americans raises huge doubts of Americans' true civil liberties. So I'll go back and say, the only way to face this is quit buying from places that are tied with the government. Get away from these big banks such as your Chase and your Bank of America and all these big banks that are tied to the government. Shop local, use cash, put your money in local small banks that are not tied to these big organizations. If these big organizations are tied to the WEF and they're tied to global agendas, why do you shop with them? Try not to. Now, I know you have to shop Amazon or Walmart every once in a while because we live in small town. But try to not do that if you don't have to. Also, try to use cash when you're going to those places. If you're using cash, that helps them not track you as much compared to using your card or using your bank information, because guess what? Because if your bank is one of these big banks, they're giving your information to the government. And that's not freedom, and that's not what liberty looks like in a free country. I hope that Jim Jordan don't just bring attention to it. I hope they actually do something. I hope conservatives actually do something about this and not just talk about it like always. So give me your thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I right? I think the more things that we need to do as preppers, as homesteaders, as people who want to live sustainable, and also as Christians and conservatives, it's just simply shop local, use local community banks or local places to put your money. Use cash when you can. And if you are going to big box stores or you are going to shop at places like Walmart or Amazon or some of these other big companies that may not support and like you, then use cash so that way you're not always looked upon. Also, quit downloading all these apps and opening all these emails from all these companies because they're getting your information, just like we talked about with Delete Me. Find ways to be safe as possible because we live in a technological world. People know a lot about you. Let's make it harder. And the ways to do that, local, cash, community, small banks, and staying away from all these companies that don't like you. Again, we're going to see more persecution. We're going to see harder times. It's biblical. But that makes us stronger. It makes us more bright. I think of a dark world. If we're in a dark world and we're the light shining out, it makes us more bright. So it's going to bring more attention to us. But it also allows people who are living in darkness to see and say, you know what? I want to be like that. I want to be like that. Let's grow a community and let's change the world. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this content. Again, if you like the content, give us a thumbs up. I just want to encourage you because there's bad things happening out there all the time against your freedom and liberty and against conservatism and against prepping and lifestyles like we live. The ways to fix it is just like we talked about in this video. I hope you're doing those things or trying to take care of your family the best way you know how. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.